What is going on today? All right. I don't know if anybody's going to come back. Our breaker got tripped. Jodi Hildebrandt came over and shut down the stream, and Chad and Lori, so we shooed them away. Get the frick out of here. Get behind me, Satan. Not happening today. So hopefully it works for all of us. Thank you guys for being patient. I'm sure it started a new stream, which is interesting, but it is what it is. So, good to see you guys. Again, we lost power downstairs where the Wi-Fi was specifically. So, it is what it is. I was tripping too. I was like, why am I frozen? Then it tells me the chat's gone. It says trying to reconnect. I was like, what the heck is happening? All right, so I don't even remember exactly where we were. I mean, I have my notes right here, but yes. So Jodi thinks that men are, she belittles men. She treats everyone like an addict. This is part two of part two, by the way. So appreciate you being here. Part two of part two. We're just going to finish this one out. I promise we're almost done. And then Jodi controls other people through the wives to the husbands, as we talked about. Jodi cut off sex for the marriage to punish lustful men and told people to separate and go no contact. So imagine being in your relationship and your therapist, godly therapist, tells you, hey, don't have sex with him. Don't have sex together. That's bad. He's bad. He's a bad guy. You're planting that thought in her mind. So I think that's really wrong. And cuts all the intimacy off and even gives the opportunity of a real genuine connection to happen. It goes away, right? So now there is no more opportunity to even try to repair that because you've now taken it off the table because you're labeling him as a disgusting, lustful, horrible person that should not be allowed to have sex. Again, transactional love. Sex should not be transactional like that. Sex is supposed to be an act of love. So an act of love with sex would not be something that you hold against someone, but more in a way of let's both do this, right? So that's what she's doing with their marriages. She's got all of those points that she's pressing on, and then they separate and no contact. Do you know how no contact means? Like if they reach out, you don't respond. Like you don't, there's no end date to that really. No contact usually is a really big decision that people make. If you go no contact with someone, that means you are deciding to possibly never speak to them again. And it's usually very extreme in the sense of like blocking them for the opportunity to be gone. I have no contact with Lori. I've never downloaded the app that she's on. She can't call me. She can't do anything. There's a reason for that. You have to protect yourself from people who are damaging your life. This is not to that extreme. A husband looking at something is not to the degree of no contact separation. Okay. Every case by case, I'm not going to try to sit here and blanket statement everything. All I'm saying is this is what Jodi wanted through everybody. It doesn't matter who it was. They were being told to do an extreme situation, which is a no contact separation. How do you get back together with no contact separations? Can you explain that to me? Like what's the end goal for the relationship or the marriage? Right? Let's go over to Chad and Lori. They don't want you to get divorced, but they do want to take out the spouse. I'm going to sound really callous, but it's just the truth. They wanted to literally take the spouse out of the picture so they all could be with new people and get remarried to new people who thought like them and wanted to play in make-believe Disneyland, totally disassociated from life. That's what they wanted. And so there's no point in, I don't understand how as a person though you think this is a good idea, but you're already in so deep. So this is why cults are so dangerous, is because they suck you into a belief system and then a community, and they isolate you from the outside world. And the more slowly you get closer to the leader, the more and more you have to do, the more and more things you have to deal with. And if you're already really alone and then your cult is the only thing you have, well, they do that on purpose. So it probably makes it harder and harder and harder. Also, like I said, they frown upon getting a divorce. So just separate and not talk to each other. And what good does that, is that really the answer to every single one of your marriage people that you're counseling? The answer is no. Oh, I'm told you, I'm getting frustrated already because this is ridiculous. Now, another big example they use in this documentary is Are you kidding me with the Wi? Is the Wi-Fi out again? No, gosh, no freaking way. Anyway, so it says on there that Jodi is acting on behalf of God. She had dreams and manifestations. Again, who's that sound like? And the first thing I thought was Chad with, so this is where I think you need to have some kind of a pass. You need somebody to say, I have this from God. I think that's like the thing. You need validation. You don't have it. So you have to say, I've had dreams, I've had visions, I've had this, because that's what you learn if you do read the Bible. People have had those things, and so they manipulate that as well. This is where I have to keep hitting on. You cannot just take everybody's word for stuff. This is how you get in a lot of trouble. You just believe that people are doing good by you because they say they're LDS and they say that they're a therapist and they say this. You have your own discernment for a reason. If you start feeling weird about it, and a lot of times people say, yeah, I had a weird feeling, but I ignored that. Don't always ignore that. Really spend some time and try to figure out why you feel the way you feel and explore that, because I don't think that stuff always, it can be misdirected. You can be wrong, but you're overthinking it. If it's really prominent and you keep thinking, hey, that was weird, that's not LDS, that's not something I believe in my core belief, then why would you follow that person? It doesn't make any sense. So you have to find your convictions and then figure out what you think and believe. And then from there, you start to eliminate people being able to manipulate you. And that's just the truth. You have a foundation and basis. So if someone says something that's going to sound like nails on a chalkboard when it goes against your foundational beliefs to marriage, to religion, all those things, you got to start finding your own convictions. Don't just listen to these people, especially if a bishop said, well, you should go see this person. That sucks, because in that moment, that person is vulnerable. That person does trust their bishop, and the bishop should do some vetting. I'm sorry. You should have known. Like, you should look into someone that you're suggesting to be a religious leader and a religious therapist. You should have vetted way more. Come on, bro. Like, if you would have just listened to her talking, you could have seen through it. That's just my opinion. But whatever. So, I already told you, Jodi's exiling the men. It's always the men. It's never the wife's faults. I'm not trying to start a debate here. I'm just simply saying, in Jodi's, from all these examples, the men always had to go away. It was never ever the other way around. It's always the men leave, and they're the ones, they're gross, they're disgusting. Kevin is told about, so then it goes back to the interview room, and Kevin is actually told about the condition of his son. And this was really hard because I didn't even know what to think. And I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I'd handle that. I don't know what you do. It just broke my heart. And at first I was kind of like sketched out by Kevin. I'm not going to lie to you, because I was like, even if my wife was like, you're not seeing your kids anymore, I would fight like hell. Because in that circumstance, knowing that you are not this horrible person who is a danger to your children, you shouldn't have that feeling. But, remember in the Hulu documentary, Jodi was having these fake demon episodes where she would sit there and woo, 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 and fake a demon attack or something. And so Chad got kicked out the house because he was kissing girls and looking at porn. And then I think the same exact thing happened. She kept having these episodes, and so they think that something's in the house. This is hyper-religious, and hyper-religious is a choker of truth, and it's ideas and rules and thoughts and follows and all these wild misconceptions of reality, and it just makes people act crazy. It makes them do crazy things. So that's unfortunate, and that's where we're at, and that's exactly what's happening, though. There's so many examples just in the documentary. I'm sure it's worse in reality. And on top of it, she's teaching therapists how to go do therapy. She is you need to understand, her influence did reach. She had reach, and she was talking to people, and they were spreading the Jodi message and vouching for her and bringing in new people, and they were earnest as well. I don't think anybody else was really that manipulative. It was truly, I think even Jodi was manipulating Ruby, but Ruby's still responsible enough to say, hey, I'm not going to hurt my kids. There's something wrong with you if you're even okay with that or participating in that. That's on you. You have mental issues. You need to be away from your children. You should not have children. If you're going to hurt your children, you should be away from them. And that's just period. So, it goes really deep into that next point. He hears all about what's happening, about the rope burns, about his son's condition, his wounds, the paste, the duct tape. And basically at first they're immediately suspecting him. That's the first thing they're going to do is be like, yeah, you're a suspect in our mind. How'd you not know? But they believe, honestly, that he really wasn't involved. And I think they had proof of that he did not even know where his kids were. But one thing you can see is he's not accepting the information. He's in denial. And he goes, this can't be true. It sounds like you're making this up. This can't be real life. He says something really telling to me. He says, I have a picture of my family on my wall. I look at it every day. I think about it every day. And so I feel like he's saying there's no way. That's what I have mentally. I've been doing this mental game for a year. I'm earning that family back. You're telling me that my wife's hurting my kids? No. Jodi's a good person. My wife's a good person. He's in complete denial. Complete denial. Because it is such a shock. It is such a shock. But again, yeah, we're not going to debate on Kevin. I don't want to try to say something more about something I have very little information on. All I can say is, from the perspective I have from both documentaries, my only question simply becomes, how could you allow her to take your kids away for the year? But there, if you really peel that part back, there's a lot of shame and pointing the finger at him being a horrible person. And so they did it for themselves. The best thing an enemy can do to you is make you doubt yourself. It's not them attacking or physically or anything. The best thing they can do is destroy you from the inside out. That's some Satan stuff right there. That's like Satan's goal. That's how the devil works. So when people get to that level where they get in your head and they make you start doing stuff, they make people take their own lives, these cults, that kind of level, we're like on another plane of psychological and spiritual warfare. Okay. So this is why it's so dangerous, because Kevin could have easily taken his own life at some point because it's just overwhelming. He sees no end to it. This happens all the time. Who knows what else happened in these groups with Jodi. And these people are paying out of their butts for help and they're not getting it. They're actually separated now after all of the vulnerability, all these men coming to her, telling her the truth about their feelings. And she's telling them, you're a horrible person. You need to leave your family. You're going to lose your kids because you're a lustful, disgusting man. Imagine if it was the other way around. Hey, you're going to lose your kids because you're a disgusting, lustful woman. You looked at a guy when he was walking by, or you were watching Aquaman for way too long yesterday. You lustful little harlot. You're out. You're not seeing your kids anymore, you son of a frick. Can you imagine that kind of thing? It goes both ways. It's manipulation, it's anger, it's disgusting, and it's from a mean, horrible person who wants to inflict physical, mental, and spiritual pain on people. Again, why? Because they themselves are in such a painful, horrible place. They hate themselves so much that they'll do that. Just being honest, okay? Oh, don't play with me. You all know you like Aquaman. I saw the pictures when they're going around. Even my own wife, who's not even in the chat, had posted a picture of Aquaman. I started doing push-ups that day. Jodi thinks she's acting on behalf of God. I already said that. She mixed religion and therapy and abuse. So I thought that was interesting. She mixed 3 different components in a very, very seamless way. This is what makes manipulators at this level so effective. You use religion to pull you in. Then you get, the pressure points. They start opening up to you. This Chad did the same thing. Lori is a word vomit, probably told him everything about her life because she thought he was a good whatever. And he had an open book, said, here's my psychology. Here's everything about me. Here, do it. Just have it. And he obviously wanted to. So I give credit where it's always due. They're both evil. Ruby and Jodi are evil, but there is also different aspects of manipulation on both sides, right? All right. The last few things I have. Ruby has this face again when she's told, when I tell you I've never been so uncomfortable in my life seeing someone like this. Look at this. Her and Lori both had this stoic look of not bothered. She's told, hey, you have 2 felonies and you're going to jail. Ruby has that face with a silence. Says nothing. Has no care in the world for it. And then Jodi is in the car and she starts to talk. And guess what Jodi does? She blame shifts to the children. and says those kids should never be around other kids. The first thing Jodi does after she knows you're going to jail, she blames the children and makes it about, oh, well, they're probably, and again, I didn't hear any more details yet, but I'll tell you this, that is the typical person who thinks that they're going to get away with it, right? They turn it into the victim themselves' fault, right? It's Tylee's fault. Tylee did this. Tylee did all of this, right? Tylee did this. Charles did this. Charles was the one. Tammy, well, she just simply passed. The kids are evil. That's why they're locked up in our house. You need to know they should never be around another child. They needed that because they're bad. Like it's literally blaming the victim personally. It's like you couldn't think of anything else. You had to blame the actual victim. It's insane, and it's the same exact pattern between the all. And then at the end of Chad's trial, dude goes off and literally says that he was the next target. Like they victim blame, and they make themselves look like they were so in the line of fire or something bad was going to happen to them or something like that. It's just, it makes me want to throw up. Honestly, I can't stand the victim blaming. You couldn't do anything lower. You're already on the lowest part of the totem pole by your choices. And your next choice is to let me just blame the victim. It's their fault. I'll never understand that. These are my last two things I'm going to say. Ruby and Jodi start singing hymns on the way to the jail. Now, my question is, if you don't even believe in the core LDS church, why are you so stuck with parts of it? Jodi already questioned the church. She's already speaking out against the church because in the traditional church, it's not that, I don't know if the church is still, I'm going to use these words carefully, but like, I don't know if the church is still belittling women in a sense of like making the man above, because again, leadership is not supposed to be above you, it's with you. But I think in a traditional sense, you would think that the opposite of that, which is the woman is now in charge, would be an immediate, hey, this isn't LDS. This doesn't make a lot of sense. And again, it's playing on people's wounds. You're touching their pressure points and you're hitting on that stuff hard. So that's all I got for you guys. That was just, again, we did these videos for one. I don't think I could hit every single theme. There's so many things that are going on in these videos, and just my notes alone just have so much bounce, and it's insane. I really don't understand how stuff like this happens. I don't know how people get here. I don't know how people use religion to get here. I don't know how they justify themselves. These egos and like their minds are so powerful that it gets them to these places. I just think that's insane. There's also spiritual warfare. You have to admit that there is, but I really just can't fathom it. I don't understand how people can use religion to get here, but it is what it is. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with us. We had a little power problem downstairs where the Wi-Fi is, so that wasn't good, but we're all good now. So it's good to see you. We'll be back on Monday. We have to finish our coverage of Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died. And that one to me also hits really, really hard and has a lot of LDS themes in it as well. So it's very interesting that all of these things that I just didn't really think about the LDS connection are all connected in some way. And so I want to go over that psychology of it. That's just the truth. And it goes the same thing in any kind of Christian abuse. You cannot use Christianity to abuse or get power or gain power. You cannot use Jesus to get what you want. You cannot use religion to further your own self. If it's actually the opposite. If you really think about who Jesus was a self-sacrificing person, and you would actually be more understanding, and you'd be a 180. Let's just put it that way. So they're obviously not following Jesus, but appreciate you. Love you. I'll see you guys very soon. And yeah, see you guys next week. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Love you guys, man. Appreciate you, mods. And shout out to the mother frickin' ones, the Chiefs, the Warriors, and to our Patreons as well. Appreciate you guys, man.